Hi, I'm Chris Jube, and I'm going to share with you the 3 essential habits of a champion extemper. Very quickly, Extemp is a speech event that's offered in various leagues that gives you about 20 to 30 minutes of preparation to prepare a 7-minute speech, which you will present for a judge or a small audience and be rated on it and ranked on it. What you're presented with are 3 prompts that reflect the daily news, economically, domestically, or world news. A prompt is given to you and you are tasked to analyze and maybe give an opinion on it. Now that might terrify you, and you might be doing Extemp because your mom's making you do it or some geeky friend of yours is doing it. Don't call them geeks because they're not. They just know the news better than you. You have to give yourself due diligence to craft 3 habits, and that's what this video is about, because really all champions develop these 3 habits and they do it quite diligently. So let's get started. The first habit is to read. You'd think that'd be obvious. Now you may be thinking, but the news is boring. And I agree, sometimes the news is boring. What you need to do is try to find the elements that interest you. Champion extempers are spending about an hour a day, 6 to 7 days a week, reading news articles about what's going on in the world today. Now you might be thinking, why would I be spending all my time reading these news articles? I have a couple of suggestions. First of all, read strategically. It helps to know that there is a structural pyramid in every article. You can read a lot in an hour, understanding that at the top of the pyramid is really what is introduced to you at first in an article. The boring stuff comes later. So the first opening paragraph of every news article is what's called the lead. It draws you in. Journalists are taught this in journalism school. It's not rocket science. But when you understand that you're being led down this road, it helps you as an extemper to read quickly and absorb information that is important and maybe not that boring after all. Take this article for an example. Haitians and Cubans in Miami seek change for their island nations. This is a hot topic right now at the time I'm making this video. The article starts off with, as Cuba and Haiti grapple with political crises, exile communities that have long tried to shape events in their native countries are again campaigning for change. Do you see how that leads you in? What is that change? What are the campaigns? Who are these people who are protesting? It should create an interest in you that goes, gosh, there's something really significant going on right now, and I want to know more about it. This is before making any kind of analysis or any kind of opinion on it at all. You're just gathering information. You're letting the research guide you, which, by the way, is always a theme in my videos. You're reading and you're growing as an extemper, and you're becoming an expert in fields of importance. Either world, domestic, economic, you're becoming the smart person in the room, which I think is pretty cool. And you're becoming the smart person in the room just by reading. So the habit you need to make is to read. Read the news, aggregate it, pull it in, and grow from it. Habit number 2, learn to discern. What do I mean by discern? First of all, it's separating important from unimportant facts. Extempers do this all the time. And like I said, there's a pyramid of information. The most important facts are going to be presented to you at the beginning, and then it trickles down into more details. You being a reader and you're learning to discern, you are able to separate the important from the unimportant. What this is doing is training you to analyze the news, come to your own conclusions, which is really what a champion extemper does, is they come to a conclusion, they answer the question with confidence and with education. And again, you're the smart person in the room. But discernment also goes into what I would call media bias. Misinformation is popular out there right now, or fake news. Those are real realities to the news today. How does an extemper deal with it? Well, a champion extemper is able to discern what's being told to them and what's the real news. Don't rely on commentators when you're reading the news. Rely on just the facts. Get used to just demanding the facts from your news. This helps champion extempers choose the right news sources from which to read from. There is a lot of bias out there who are leading you by the nose. You gotta discern them out. Ultimately, you're trying to come up with the best opinion on a news topic that you can come up with, based on the research that you are participating in and gathering as an extemper in your homeschool as you gather all up the information and prepare for your tournaments. This is the basics of critical thinking, you guys, and extempers. And oh man, the world needs you people. It needs you to analyze the news, critique the news, and be not only the smart person in the room, but the wise person in life. Can you see how extemp can help you in life? It does, and it will. And that's if you make the habit of reading strategically. The third habit of a champion extemper is to read quality news. There is a hierarchy of quality news. First and foremost are newspapers and periodicals. Now, newspapers are the daily news, and periodicals are more, come out less frequently. They're magazines. Many of them allow free access online. Some are paid for, like the Wall Street Journal, and I pay for it. They have a great student rate, by the way. As a side note, avoid the local news, or not avoid it. Go ahead and read it, but it doesn't quite matter in extemp rounds. There won't be any local news in your extemp rounds. A very handy tool is online aggregators, and I guarantee you champion extempers are using online aggregators. There's then think tanks and policy institutes, the Heritage Foundation, Cato Institute, and so on. These are think tanks who they opine on the news. So whatever the news is or the hot topic is that's going on in the world that you need to know for your tournament, these think tanks and these policy institutes are really helpful to get into. And you might find them more interesting because it helps you analyze the world in a certain way so that you're able to give your opinion in an extemp round. Those are the three habits that champion extempers get into, and they make a lifestyle of it, and it's a lifestyle of excellence through their preparation. Great extempers have their eye on the win, and they win by becoming experts in the news. So you have some work to do. Start developing those habits and prepare for action, and we'll see you at some tournaments.